everybody to the video number 2, making the Paulette handbag from Shambhala. It's going to be a beautiful bag. Like I said from our last video, this video I'm going to show you now what's been cut out. Did a little bit of prep. We'll talk a little bit about some interfacing and stabilizers that I determined I didn't need later on. So let's dive in. Alright, so first of all, I cut out my 2 exteriors, and I went ahead and did the pleats on the bottom for one of these. It's just clipped in place for now. So go ahead and get yours marked, and I would go ahead and base them in place. Do that for both the both exteriors and also your linings. So make sure that your plates are going opposite directions of each other. Very pretty. And so that's nice. Oh, so this is the Mora vinyl from Emily, and after I cut it out, I determined that it needed a little bit more body than maybe other vinyl. So I just fused some Decaville light to it, and now it's got the perfect weight. So it's always nice to have the options after the fact. So if you need to add some body to your bag, don't hesitate to go ahead and add the Decaville light. So we have our 2 exterior pieces cut out, and we'll come back next time. We'll have the pleats basted in place for both of those. Okay, so put this over here for now. Here we have this is the gusset for the exterior of the bag. For the gusset, I also went ahead, you can't tell because I have it covered, I fused a piece of Decaville light, and I fused a piece of Bozal in our form, and then on top of that some woven fuse, because my Bozal is double-sided, so if I didn't put something on top of it, it would mess up my iron. So this is a nice structure as well. You have those 2 pieces, and then we have our base. I chose to do it in a contrasting color. I think it's to look so sharp, so you can do that as well, or the same color is fine. For this also I have fused Decaville light first to the vinyl, and then a piece of foam, and on top of that woven fuse. So go ahead and get those pieces ready. Hey, while you're at it, this is not a big thing, go ahead and sew these up, so next time we have it all ready per the pattern. Simple little steps, but it'll save us some time. Okay, so talk about that. And let's see, what else? Okay, so we're going to talk about piping. Piping is not hard. So I've made one piece, and we'll do one together here. The pattern, I think, calls for 1 1/4 inch, but because our cording is very, very thin, we're using the 1.8 millimeter, I cut mine to 1 inch. Okay, so 1 inch by, I think it's 34. It'll be more than you need. In fact, we'll cut off some, but it's just a little bit of extra to work with. So let's talk about putting this together. So we are now going to take our 1 inch piece of vinyl and take our 1/2 inch double-sided tape and put a piece all the way down the length of the vinyl with the centered of the double-sided tape. I'm not drawing a line, I'm just using approximation, but try to keep it even, like so. And so, all the way to the end, I'll cut it. Then you want to smooth it out. No bumps. And then before you remove the tape, we can go ahead and get our 1.8 millimeter cording and just kind of go from end to end to see how much we need, and cut it. So like I said in the previous video, this is very, very narrow cording. It's why we're doing a 1 inch strip, not 1 1/4, because we don't need that much to wrap around the cord. I just like, and I think you will too, the thinness of the piping, especially for this particular bag. All right, so now I'm going to remove the tape not the tape, remove the coating, you know what I mean. So, and we're going to put our cording down the center and just stick it. Again, we are eyeballing it so that it's down the center. So, to the end. Okay? And we're going to, you can start in the center, anywhere you like. I like to start in the center. Just fold it in half to encase the cording. I'm going to go ahead and just join this, aligning the tops of the vinyl so that now it's basically a 1/2 inch, if you will, and securing that all the way across, like so. And we'll show you, I'm going to get my hands out of the way here, how it looks. Make sure the tops are aligned. Okay, so we have done that to this half. Now we're going to go ahead and complete the other half, just aligning the tops and encasing the cording, just in case. Ha, sorry. And doing that. Don't be in a hurry like me. Take your time. Have the tops aligned perfectly. Okay. Perfectly. And then smooth it out. Then you're going to use what's called a Hera marker. I like to use a little bit the fatter side here. And we're just going to run it around the edge, just so we can seal the double-sided tape to the vinyl really well and ensure that our piping is nice and encapsulated. So I'll just do that down the length of the piping. These are great tools, by the way. You can use these instead of marking, with pencils and such. This is a nice temporary line. So, great tool. They also come in different sizes, so you can use them as pokey tools. I'm sure you have some on hand. If you don't have one, use your fingernail, use a pen top with lid. Get creative. But actually, you want to have this in your arsenal. So, I have a little extra cording here. I'll cut that off. And that is your piping. It's very, very narrow. It's going to be super pretty on the bag. And you want to have 2 pieces. I put some clips on this first one just so that the glue wouldn't come undone. So get this ready for your bag for next time, and we will set that aside. And next, we're going to talk about the lining. Okay? So here's some lining. Okay. First things first is we have our 2 linings. They're cut the same size as the exterior. So go ahead and mark the pleats on this one and sew those up, baste them in place. We have identical gusset and the bottom. These don't have any interfacing because this is a sturdy enough like decor weight fabric that I don't need to interface, which is wonderful. So you can go ahead and sew these 2 together as well to the base like you did for the front. And we're going to put a slip pocket. Get this out of the way. So we're going to have a slip pocket. The slip pocket is, it's not in the pattern. Maybe she has directions, but this is how I do it. So this is 8.5 piece by 12 1/4, and like so. If you are using cotton, you might want to interface it with woven fuse or SF101, but again, this is sturdy enough that I don't need to interface it, which is nice. And then you're going to cut this piece, basically you're going to cut it at 8.5 by 6, which will leave an 8.5 by 6.25 piece for our slip pocket. And you'll want to cut about 9" by 7/8 inch piece of complementing vinyl. You decide which one you want to use, and that's going to be our band. So we've done this before, and we're going to do it again because it's really pretty and it's a nice way to have a slip pocket. We'll divide it so there's enough room for your phone and maybe a pair of sunglasses, but we'll tackle that next time. So that's your slip pocket. Well, let me just reiterate. So you want to cut a piece of fabric 8.5 by 12.25. Make sure you have it sized and interfaced if you want, and then you're going to cut that to 8.5 by 6, which will leave an 8.5 by 6.25 piece. And you'll know why, because when we attach the band to the shorter piece, it all will line up to be one same size piece. Okay, so that's that. We'll set this aside. And we have our interior pocket. So this is basically 2 9 by 9 pieces of fabric. I've used the beige, I decided, and they're interfaced with woven fuse. And then we just attached our zipper like we always do. Remember, we want the zipper to be like so, because we're going to be opening the zipper like that and looking inside to see the right side of the lining. So you have this ready. Go ahead and get your 2 pieces cut out 9 by 9. We will end up trimming about 1/2 inch later on. And if you haven't already, you also want to have your zipper facing or overlay cut out and ready. You don't have to. You can put a regular zip pocket in, but I like to do it with the overlay because it's fun and it's pretty, and I get to play with my Cricut, as you recall. Oops. And let's see. Now we're going to talk about the straps. So we have 2 options for the straps. One is the 2-tone strap that we talked about. To do the 2-tone strap, you're going to want to cut. This is approximate for me. You might have different options or desires, but for me, this is 2 4-inch by 12-inch pieces of vinyl. I used my darker brown, or actually it's charcoal it's called, for these 2 pieces. And then 1 4-inch by 20-inch piece of the coordinating vinyl. And this is my tan. So just go ahead and you want to, again, so 2 4 by 12 pieces and 1 4 by 20 piece. This is going to be for the 2-tone strap. If you're using the 2-tone strap, it means that you're going to need the connectors on the side of the bag. So either use the connectors that came with the pattern, the connector pattern piece, this one, or go ahead and make your own that I showed you last time. So these are just nice little connectors that we will sew on. Simple. I think they're a little bit more classier sometimes. So, but you'll need these if you want to do the 2-tone connector strap. So put that aside. And last but not least, if we're going to do the Bringberry strap with the, not the Bringberry strap, if we're going to do the strap with the Bringberry hardware, you want to cut 2 pieces of vinyl. It's the same color. You want to cut one piece 25 inches by 1.5 inches, and the other one's going to be 22 by 1.5 inches. And that's when you put them together, there's enough room for them to fold over the hardware and have a seam to the back. So again, 25 inches by 1.5 inches and 22 inches by 1.5 inches. Now this is for a shoulder strap that will work for, I don't know, a medium-sized frame. If you're making it for yourself and you have a longer stretch or a longer width, you can make it longer. I don't think you're probably much shorter than me, because then you'd be like really, really short. So this is a good size for me. I like it. That's for your Bringberry connector straps. So I think that is it for today. So when we come back next time, we're actually going to put together the lining first. I like to get the lining out of the way, and then once we conquer that, then we will start on the front, attach the piping. It's going to come together pretty fast. So go ahead and get all your leg work done that you can as far as doing the pleats and getting your pocket ready, cut out your overlay, do any small, putting the gussets together if you have time for that. And if you want to skip ahead, by all means you can. I'm just taking this very slowly so we can enjoy the process, enjoy each other's company, and just have fun, because sewing should be fun. All right, that's it for today. Next week, hopefully in 7 days, we'll be, like I said, making the lining. So have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you in just a few days. So bye, everybody.